for a long time. I thought the battle was out there. I was wrong. I blame the circumstances, I blame the timing, I blame the opportunities I never had and the doors that never opened. Until one day I stood in front of a mirror long enough to realize the person holding me back had been standing there the entire time. Not because he was weak, not because he lacked potential, but because he spent years waiting for confidence before taking action, and years searching for certainty in a world that never promised any. And suddenly the mirror changed, because I stopped looking at my reflection and started looking at my responsibility. Every excuse, every delay, every promise to start tomorrow, every reason, every justification, every comfortable lie standing there, looking back at me. And for the first time, I couldn't look away. Because the mirror doesn't care about intentions. The mirror doesn't care about potential. The mirror only reflects the choices repeated every day, every day, every day. That's when everything began to change. Not overnight, not dramatically, not with some cinematic breakthrough, but slowly. One decision, one morning, one workout, one difficult choice repeated so many times that the reflection eventually became someone I no longer recognize. Stronger, calmer, wiser, more disciplined, more focused, more alive. Not because life became easier, because I became harder to break. The greatest opponent I ever faced was never another person. It was the version of myself that wanted comfort more than growth. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the man I promised I would become. For a long time. Everybody sees the result. Almost nobody sees the fire. People look at confidence and assume it was always there. They look at discipline and imagine it arrived naturally. They look at strength and believe it appeared overnight. But what they never see are the years spent fighting battles that happened entirely in silence. The mornings when getting up felt impossible. The nights when doubt felt louder than hope. The moments when nobody would have blamed you for quitting. The moments when quitting almost made sense. That's the fire nobody saw, the invisible struggle, the private sacrifices, the countless decisions made when nobody was watching, and no reward was guaranteed. No applause, no audience, no recognition, no spotlight. Just a quiet promise repeated again and again. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because sometimes growth looks nothing like growth. Sometimes growth looks like survival. And maybe that's why the strongest people often speak the least. Because they remember what it costs. They remember the storms. They remember the loneliness. They remember the days when the only thing keeping them moving was a belief nobody else could see. The fire was never rage. The fire was purpose. The fire was never anger. The fire was belief, or belief that somewhere beyond the struggle there was a version of yourself worth meeting. One difficult day, one difficult week, one difficult year. One step, one lesson, one scar, one promise kept. Everybody sees the result. Almost nobody sees the fire. But the fire remembers. Every once in a while, I catch a glimpse of him.
Not for long, just long enough to know he's real.
I see him in the decisions I almost make, in the opportunities I almost take, in the moments where courage briefly becomes louder than fear. And for a second I can feel the distance between who I am and who I could become begin to disappear. He's not stronger because life was easier. He's not wiser because he never failed. He's not confident because he never doubted himself. He's simply the version of me that kept going when stopping would have been easier. And every time I think about quitting, I see him. Every time I think about settling, I see him. Every time I think about lowering the standard, I see him standing somewhere ahead of me, waiting. Not judging, not demanding, not speaking, just existing, like a reminder of what becomes possible when effort survives long enough to transform into identity. And maybe that's what purpose really is. Not chasing success, not chasing approval, not chasing perfection, chasing the highest version of yourself. Because the truth is, the version I'm chasing is not a stranger. He's built from every lesson I learned the hard way, every sacrifice, every setback, every promise I refuse to break. He's not waiting at the finish line, he's being built right now with every decision, every morning, every difficult step. Closer, stronger, wiser, higher. Closer, stronger, wiser, higher. One day I will meet him, and when I do, I know exactly what he'll say. Thank you for not stopping, keep moving. He's closer than you think.